They couldn't figure out how the president should be elected. They didn't want him beholden to Congress, so it wasn't going to be Congress. And they ended up with the Electoral College, so that the state legislatures chose the electors. The electors were supposed to be the best and the brightest men, white men of every state, and they would decide who they supported for president. So that's the Republican system we started with. And of course, it doesn't bear any relationship to where we are today, which makes sense. It's 200 and whatever that is, almost 50 years ago now, in a different world. And we have changed the Constitution in important ways since then. As David was talking yesterday, he referred to what many constitutional lawyers call the second framing, or the second start of our Constitution, which was the amendments passed after the Civil War. So we're in a very different place than the founders were. A couple elements of that. One is that even the white male franchise changed in the 1830s, 40s, 50s. Andrew Jackson, populism, the frontier. People no longer thought that you had to have property in order to vote. And so the franchise was significantly broadened. One of the first effects of that is that those voters who could now, more of them, vote for the House, said, wait a minute, why are state legislatures picking the presidential electors? Why don't we have a say in that? The Constitution says that the electors shall be chosen as directed by the state legislatures. And so state legislatures came under pressure from their constituents to say, put it to a popular vote. And states began to do that one by one by one. There was no change in the federal Constitution, but suddenly we ended up in a place where actual voters were determining who got New York's electoral votes or South Carolina's electoral votes, rather than the intermediary state legislatures, which, just jumping ahead, has led to the current problem we have, where you have an electoral college that may produce different results than the popular vote. The founders, never occurred to them there would be a popular vote, so there would be no way to know who the people actually wanted. Now we've ended up with two parallel systems and an electoral college by state vote, and then we also know what the national popular vote is. To be clear, I'm convinced nobody ever would have designed that system. You wouldn't want two different results. But we got it, as with so many things in this country, because we're a very old, comparatively, democracy. So we didn't start with a fresh slate. When we have advised Europe after the war, or Japan, or more recently the former Iron Curtain countries, on how to devise their electoral systems, you can be guaranteed we don't give them ours. But we haven't found a way to change ours.